Oh, hi there. What's going on, everyone? So glad that you guys are here. Welcome to the experience. Welcome to the journey. It's awesome to be here in front of you on a day like this. It's an important day for many reasons, but the reason that this day is important for me, for your Javed sir, is because you have made me your teacher right now. And what is going on, Shahat? What's going on, Lahira? I see some familiar pupils here in the class. Now, here's the deal, okay? I know that there might be pupils here who are hoping to face an exam tomorrow, right? Tomorrow there is an exam. I don't know what that exam is, okay? I have no idea what that exam is. This session is not like a farewell goodbye for those pupils, okay? Right, Usman, I don't know that you guys have an exam tomorrow. However, in reality, this session is for the 2022 batch, NEME 2023 batch pupils and the 2024 batch pupils, okay? You guys are going to have a game-changing session. You guys are going to have an amazing session today learning literature. And we are going to focus on a poem that I believe is important because thus far in the exam, this poem has not been tested properly. Sometimes you guys might get this poem in the exam, whatever exam you're going to face, okay? It might be your O-level exam, it might be your term test, it might be a zonal paper, which again in this month of July, I believe, in the upcoming month of July, many pupils are going to have their term tests, baby. So I believe that Farewell to Barn and Stack Country is a valuable lesson that you guys can be learning, okay? Because I have talked a lot about the dramas. I have talked a lot about the prose. I seldom talk about these poems, especially the poems under the theme of conflict. Yes, baby, Farewell to Barn and Stack Country is a poem under the theme of conflict. We're going to start learning this poem because this is like the easiest poem that you guys can learn. A lot of pupils think that Farewell to BST is difficult. The reason is it has archaic language. The reason is because the poem is very blurry. The poem is not clear, is not clearly presented. It's the reader's job to understand what's going on. Okay, one more time. When you're learning Farewell to Barn and Stack Country, which is one of the poems under the theme of conflict. And yeah, what's going on, Hani? What is going on? Humaid, glad you're here, by the way. Okay, guys. Nishad, can't forget you guys. Can't forget you, Usman, Reshma. Again, Varada, what's going on? Been so long, right? So here's the deal. I know there are so many pupils here who have seen me around. There are pupils here who have not seen me, I believe, who have never seen me ever, right? So I'm so proud that you guys, again, have made me your teacher for these few hours. And I'm going to give you the best value possible for this 2 hours that you invest. I want to give you guys a sound understanding of this poem that I was talking about, right? Farewell to Barn and Stack Country. Again, grade 10 poem, so easy. The problem is a lot of pupils are not accustomed to learning literature in the shortcut method. You have to learn it using a shortcut, okay? You're not trying to learn literature for hours and hours. You're not trying to become the next philosopher with regards to literature. You're going to learn the poem, memorize the poem, take the poem to the exam and get good marks from the exam. That is the attitude that you guys have to carry. So once again, thanks a lot for giving me this opportunity. We are going to jump right in to our session. Let me start by sharing my screen, okay? So you guys know that it's impossible to teach a poem without a presentation. And your Javed sir loves you. And that's why I have made a presentation for you guys. The presentation is for, again, Farewell to Barn and Stack Country. And here it goes, okay? Let me go under my folders. And by the way, I have presentations for almost all of the poems. I believe all of the poems, by the way. So it is a poem under the theme of conflict. Farewell to Barn and Stack Country, indeed. So here you go. This is the presentation for Farewell to Barn and Stack Country. Yes, your Javed sir makes all of the presentations by himself. Nangi, even the cover page takes a long time to make. If you guys look at the cover page itself, you get a good understanding about the poem. Even if you have never read Farewell to Barn and Stack Country, look at the way the poem is spelled. It's Farewell to Barn and Stack Country. It's a long title in the exam. Can you shorten this title? What do you guys think? Absolutely not. Nah, you can't do it. In the exam, you must write the title as it is. It's Farewell to Barn and Stack Country. Absolutely, you can get this presentation, okay? I'll show you guys how you can get this presentation and many other presentations for English Lit. By the way, you guys sometimes might have my old presentations, but remember, we upgrade, we reboot presentations every few months. In every few months, we give a new version of a presentation, which makes learning the lesson a lot more easier. All right. So as I was saying, it's farewell to barn and stack country, baby. And this is how you write the poem in the exam. So the title itself is a part of the theory. If you misspell the title, if you use an ampersand, you guys know what ampersand is, right? Ampersand is like the kind of curly and you guys might have seen right? If you guys want to use an ampersand, you can't do it. Because in the teacher's guide, in the appreciation book itself, they have named it as farewell to barn and stack country. So that's how we're going to write the title in the exam. Hopefully you guys will definitely learn this right now, okay? Immediately. You don't wait until later. Learn the theory right now, baby. You see a dead guy here, all right? You see a guy dead or a guy dying. You see a knife is by his side. You see he's next to a stack of what? He's next to a haystack, right? And then there's even a tree here in the background. And my God, can you believe it? You guys will have your minds blown in a few seconds. There is a barn also here. So like the title, there's a barn, there's a haystack, there is a tree also. However, what kind of a background do you understand from the title? It's a very agricultural background, right? More than rural. Agricultural is the right word. The reason is, now you find a barn in a farm, right? You find hay in a farm. Hay is a byproduct used to feed the livestock. What do you mean by livestock? The sheep, the cows, the cattle, you guys get the point. Even horses are fed hay, right? When I say horses, you guys might remember the Bear by Anton Chekhov. Toby and Giant were the name of the two horses in the Bear by Anton Chekhov. I'll also drop some points of other lessons while we are learning farewell to barn and stack country, because literature is like a complete unit of a subject. So without focusing on one independent lesson at a time, it's always good to refer to the older lessons that you guys have learned. What's going on, Hafsa? As always, we shall make you full, sir. And yeah, rural is all right. However, remember, it is a agricultural background. Another place that you can use the word rural is Twilight of a Crane by Yuzua Junji Kinoshita. Twilight of a Crane is a grade 11 drama. It's the only grade 11 drama. It is one of the two dramas. It is a tragedy, and Twilight of a Crane is set in rural Japan. However, right now, we're focusing on farewell to barn and stack country. Nangi, tell me, what is the theme of the poem? Sometimes you guys might not know what theme is. A theme is like a common idea you find in a series of poems, a set of poems. There are 4 poems under the theme of conflict. So again, it's conflict. What do you mean by conflict? There's a fight, some kind of a problem. There can be many kinds of conflict. There can be domestic conflict. There can be conflict between nations. There can be conflict between individuals. There can even be internal conflict. In farewell to barn and stack country, we find internal conflict. That is the aftermath of conflict between individuals. One more time. In farewell to barn and stack country, we find internal conflict. The narrator has internal conflict. He feels bad. He feels guilty. He feels sad. He feels remorseful because he has made a mistake due to conflict between individuals. So in farewell to barn and stack country, you find conflict, okay? You find internal conflict. What do you mean by internal conflict? The conflict is inside of him. The narrator has murdered his brother. We'll talk about that in a bit, okay? It's very easy. It's so easy. I'll teach you guys everything you need to know about farewell to barn and stack country. However, this poem, because of this conflict, falls under the theme of conflict. There are more poems under the theme of conflict. You guys might know War is Kind, right? That is an example for conflict, obviously. A war is a conflict. There is Breakfast by Jacques Prévert. Do my genius putala, my nangis mallis, do you know what conflict breakfast falls under? Yes, it's conflict, but there is a specific kind of conflict that Breakfast by Jacques Prévert, the poem, it falls under domestic conflict. Apart from that, we have The Terrorist is Watching. In that also, we have conflict in society, and we have internal conflict also in The Terrorist is Watching. We'll talk about those poems in the future, but remember, by looking at the title cover, the title card itself, right? By looking at the title card itself, You guys can tell me what is going on in Farewell to Barn and Stack Country. There's a guy who is lying down. His name is Maurice, all right? He is not moving. He's lying still, baby. Give me a moment. His name is Maurice. Give me a second. Maurice, M-A-U-R-I-C-E. Isn't that easy? Memorize his name right now. There's a guy who is lying amongst the field, bloody. And there is a knife here, right? There's a knife here in his side, right? So that means he has been stabbed. One moment. Knife here in his side. And also remember, the sun is burning, right? The sun is burning. What do you mean by burning? What do you mean by the sun burning? It is so hot, right? It's scorching hot, and that is Farewell to Barn and Stack Country, baby. So right now, we're going to focus on our presentation. So one more time, Farewell to Barn and Stack Country is a poem under the theme of conflict, and it revolves around the murder of this character called Maurice. That's it. The poem revolves around the murder of this character called Maurice. I'll give you a better understanding in a bit, okay? A Houseman. Not important at all, okay? You don't even have to learn a single thing about A. Houseman, but there is a very interesting thing about him. He was a homosexual, okay? You guys might not know what homosexuals are, but remember, A. Houseman was a homosexual. But don't write this in the exam, okay? Don't say, A. Houseman, the great homosexual, wrote Farewell to Barn. Don't do that, okay? You can't write those things in the exam. A. Houseman is all you have to write. His name is A. Houseman, but to be honest, what I did was, now I cut his E. Usually, people call him A. Houseman. I made him A. Husman. I cut his E, right? So many people call him A. Houseman, right? Houseman, all right? But I cut his he, I cut the E in his name, and I made him Muslim, and I call him A. Husman. But in reality, okay, sometimes your teacher might be like, oh, no, Buddha, A. Houseman has a E in it. Look inside your appreciation book, and then tell your teacher, no, madam, A. Houseman does not have a E in his name. His name is spelled A. Husman, not because he's Muslim, but there's a printing mistake. There is a typo in your textbooks. His name is actually A. Husman. Okay, one more time. A. Houseman is spelled like A-E-H-O-U-S. E-na-man. There we are. That's how you spell his name. Okay, so one more time. Boom. You see, his name is A. Houseman without the E. Okay, so in your teacher's guide, they have written his name correctly. However, in the appreciation book, if you go to Farewell to Barn and Stack Country, you're going to find A. Houseman with an E. Can you believe that? If you go into your appreciation book, let me show you guys. Let me go into your appreciation book because I have it right here. Javitsa has your appreciation book right here on screen itself. If I were to go into Farewell to Barn and Stack Country's page, it is a poem under the theme of conflict. Houseman has a E here. Now you guys can argue, sir, if there's a E in Houseman in the appreciation book, should we not follow it? No, because it's the teacher's job. It is the teacher's job to correct the mistakes in the textbook. So this is not how you spell Houseman. Remember, you gotta cut off the E, okay? So we'll all get together and make Houseman a Muslim. We'll make A. Houseman A. Husman by cutting off his E, okay? So one more time, in your appreciation book, you're going to find his name as A. Houseman. House like H-O-U-S-E, right? H-O-U-S-E, and then man like this. However, right now, we're going to make him Muslim, and we're going to call him A. Husman from today onwards, okay? We are going to call A. Houseman A. Husman from today onwards, because this is how you actually spell his name, okay? One more time. His name is H-O-U-S. One moment. House. Man without the E, okay? Remember this. It's very important in the exam. If your teacher tells you that this is how you spell Houseman with the E, your teacher doesn't know literature. If you take a look inside the teacher's guide, okay, his name is spelled properly. And if you go on to Wikipedia, any website, his name is spelled without the E. I know that I am one of the very few people who spelled this name properly. I believe I must be the first person who told you how to spell A. Houseman. So how do you make people Muslim? By cutting the E, right? You make people Muslim by cutting the... That's exactly what I did to A. Houseman, okay, Javed sir? Making random people Muslim. Making random people Muslim. Kidding. So one more time, you have to spell Houseman without the E, okay? So right now, you have learned a lot about Farewell to Barn and Stack Country. by A. Houseman is a ballad. Okay, now that's another point that you guys must learn. It is a ballad because of two things: there is rhyme and there is rhythm. Okay, not many ballads are found in our syllabus. To be in fact, only Farewell to Barn and Stack and Tree is the ballad in our syllabus. Out of all of the, how many poems are in your syllabus, Nangi? My genius pupils tell me there are 20 poems in our syllabus, right? Out of these 20 poems, you guys know that Farewell to Barn and Stack and Tree is the only ballad you find, Nangi. It's the only ballad in our syllabus. Hope you understand that. If we write Houseman with the E, yes, you're going to lose marks. Khania, you're gonna lose marks, Khania, if you write Houseman with the E. Again, remember, Houseman does not. His name is Husman from today onwards. Call him A. Husman, okay? Don't call him A. Houseman. Call him A. Husman. We made A. Houseman a Muslim from today onwards. His name is A. Husman. Because if you take a look inside the teacher's guide, his actual spelling is H-O-U-S. Man. There we are. Too easy. So remember, the poem is a ballad, baby. What do you mean by a ballad? A ballad is a poem that has rhyme and rhythm. What else? How else can I prove that this poem is a ballad, you might ask me? It is mentioned in the teacher's guide. So remember, whatever I teach you is found in the teacher's guide. It must be in the teacher's guide because the teacher's guide is an outline of your syllabus. So if it's in your teacher's guide, if there's something in your teacher's guide, it will be in the marking scheme of your exam. If it is in the marking scheme of your exam, it must be in your answer script. So right now you guys learn that A. Houseman's or A. Husman's Farewell to Barn and Stack and Tree is a ballad under the theme of conflict. You learned something already, okay? It has not been 10 minutes since we've begun. And you guys now know that A. Houseman's Farewell to Barn and Stack and Tree is a ballad under the theme of conflict. How do you know it's the theme of conflict? It's given in your appreciation book. There are 5 themes in your syllabus. Conflict is one of these themes, and it is given in your appreciation book and the teacher's guide. So now you know that Farewell to Barn and Stack and Tree by A. Houseman is a poem, is a ballad under the theme of conflict. It is the only ballad in your syllabus. Now, many teachers tell you that ballads are poems that you can sing. No, a ballad is not a poem that you can sing, because think about Father and Son, right? Father and Son is a song, basically. It is a duet, but it is not a ballad, because a ballad must have rhyme and rhythm. So Farewell to Barn and Stack and Tree has rhyme and rhythm. Hope you understand that. So you're going to move forward then. The reason it's a ballad is because it has rhyme and rhythm, especially slow rhyme, okay? There is slow rhyme, that means a slow rhythm, that means you can really stretch the poem. Farewell to Barn and Stack and Tree, something like that. However, now you guys know the outline of the poem, the organization of the poem, right? You guys are geniuses. This isn't a big deal for you guys. But you are trying to memorize all of the points of the poem in this session itself. Don't wait until later. Don't wait until the seminar is over to go through these notes. I'll also let you guys know where you can get these notes from. But remember, if you guys can memorize everything I teach you right now, and again, I'm notoriously good for making pupils memorize in the class itself, you save so much time, and you can take this poem to your exam. Who knows, sometimes in tomorrow's exam, you might even find a question from Farewell to Barn and Stack and Tree, right? What? Isn't that amazing? Isn't that fun? So one more time, Farewell to Barn and Stack and Tree by A. Husman is a ballad, right? Is a ballad under the theme of conflict. Remember, a poem is made up of lines. All right. Every poem obviously must have lines, right? What are lines made of? Lines are made of words. Too easy, right? So we have lines, right? Lines are very important. For example, a poem like To the Nile by John Keats. How many lines do you have in To the Nile by John Keats, baby? A poem under the theme of nature. It has 14 lines. To the Nile by John Keats is a sonnet. It's a Petrarchan sonnet. There are 14 lines, obviously. However, now you guys know that poems are made out of lines. Lines are made out of words, obviously, right? Lines are made out of words. And stanzas, all right, stanzas are like the middlemen between the poem and the lines, okay? The poems are made of stanzas, or you can say lines, but remember, if you cluster lines, if you collect lines together, they are called stanzas. So remember, in Farewell to Barn and Stack Country, you can count the number of stanzas. And I believe you have 6 stanzas in Farewell to Barn and Stack Country, right? Tell me, after looking at these stanzas, now I'm going to take you back to our appreciation book. How many stanzas can you find? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Too easy, right? So like I said, lines are made out of words. Stanzas are made out of lines. And poems are made out of stanzas. So how many stanzas can you find in this poem? You find ekai, dekai, tunai, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stanzas can be found in this poem. What else? If you look at these stanzas, Nangi, you realize that all of these stanzas are uniform. What do you mean by uniform? It means the number of lines per stanza are the same. One stanza has 4 lines. And like I said, lines are made out of words, but that's not important now. Remember, these stanzas have 4 lines each, okay? 4 lines each. So are these stanzas irregular or are they uniform? They are uniform, right? Now, you guys might be going to school, obviously, these days, right? And when you go to your school, you put on a uniform, and your uniform is identical to another pupil's uniform, right? A pupil from your school has your exact uniform on. Hope you understand that. So these stanzas are uniform stanzas. All right, uniform stanzas. Why do I call them uniform stanzas? Because the lines per stanza are the same. How many lines per stanza do you have in Farewell to Barn and Stack Country, baby? You have 4 lines per stanza in Farewell to Barn and Stack Country because there are 4 lines. Because there are 4 lines per stanza, it's called a quatrain. It's called a quatrain. A quatrain, all right? I call them quatrains. It's easy to pronounce. Actual pronunciation is quatrain. Can you believe that? One more time, okay? Quatrains. How many quatrains do you find in Farewell to Barn and Stack Country, baby? You find 6 quatrains in Farewell to Barn and Stack Country. Can you believe that? You find 6 quatrains. Quatrains. You find 6 quatrains in Farewell to Barn and Stack Country. What is a quatrain? A quatrain is, don't show me, a quatrain is you've seen the screen itself. It is a 4-line stanza. A 4-line stanza is called a quatrain. So now you guys have learned something else about Farewell to Barn and Stack Country. Is a ballad, one more time, is a ballad under the theme of conflict. The poem consists of how many quatrains? 6 quatrains. Too easy, right? The poem consists of 6 quatrains. Can you believe that? So easy. So how do you know that there are 6 quatrains? You can see, right? You can see. There are 4 lines per stanza, and there are 6 stanzas. And these stanzas, are they irregular or are they uniform? They are uniform, and that's why we call them quatrains. When a stanza has 4 lines, it's called a quatrain. So how many quatrains do you have in Farewell to Barn and Stack Country? You have that. You've got 6 quatrains. Are there any more poems in our syllabus that has quatrains? Richard Cory has quatrains. How many quatrains does Richard Cory have? Richard Cory has 4 quatrains, right? Richard Cory's got 4 quatrains. And then you might know another poet who is very famous with quatrains, okay? Now, she's a world-renowned quatrain poet. Her name is Emily Dickinson. Can you believe that? These are serious points, okay? Her name is Emily Dickinson, and she is very famous with quatrains. How many quatrains do you have in A Bird Came Down the Walk? You have 5 quatrains. Now, you might be like, oh no, Javed, sir, you're lying about Emily Dickinson. You are lying about quatrains. No, I'm not. Why should Javed sir lie to you, Nangi? I'll show you. A Bird Came Down the Walk is a poem under the theme of nature. Do you see the number of lines per stanza? Ekai, dekai, tunai, hatarai. It is a kotte. How many quatrains do you find in Emily Dickinson's A Bird Came Down the Walk? You find 5 kottes, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How many kottes does Richard Cory have? Richard Cory is a poem under the theme of society. It is the easiest, shortest poem under the theme of society. It has how many kottes? Richard Cory had 4 kottes. Boom. 1, 2, 3, 4 is the number of lines per stanza. A stanza is called a quatrain. And how many quatrains do you have in Richard Cory? 1, 2, 3, 4. You can count the number of lines and count the number of stanzas. And you guys can also give a outline. You guys can find out a outline of the poem. You guys can write these in your introduction, right? So now you guys know how many kottes does Farewell to Barn and Stack Country have? 6 quatrains, baby. So if Farewell to Barn and Stack Country has 6 quatrains, how many lines does it have? 6 into 4 is 24. Farewell to Barn and Stack Country has 24 lines. Can you believe that? Too easy, okay? How many lines does Richard Cory have? So I told you that Richard Cory had 4 kottes, right? So one more time, let me show you guys. There are only 3 poems in your syllabus that properly has uniform kottes. It's called quatrains, okay? Quatrains. There are other poems also, but then their number of lines changes, all right? The 3 poems are 1, Richard Cory, all right? Edwin Arlington Robinson had 4 quatrains. You might also remember Emily Dickinson, right? Dickinson's A Bird Came Down the Walk. It had 5 kottes. I'm not surprised because Emily Dickinson is a very famous kotte lady, right? She has written so many poems with many quatrains. And finally, we have Farewell to Barn and Stack and Rewrite. Farewell. In the exam, don't write these as short form. Write the complete title of the poem. Farewell to Barn and Stack and Re has 6 quatrains. That's too easy, okay? That's crazy easy. And absolutely, after tomorrow, many pupils won't even need their appreciation book. So do all of your studying right here. And well done. Everyone gave me the number of lines that a sonnet has. How many lines do you have in a sonnet? You've got 14 lines. You've got 14 lines in a sonnet, right? So yes, the deal though. Oh, yeah, absolutely. There are many reasons that you have to learn these, obviously. So the main reason is because you want to write a intro paragraph in the exam for Farewell to Barn and Stack and Re. Right now, you guys can memorize the important parts in Farewell to Barn and Stack and Re. You can write an intro paragraph with regards to Farewell to Barn and Stack and Re, and that is Farewell to Barn and Stack and Re is a ballad under the theme of Kyanna, under the theme of conflict. The poem consists of how many quatrains? 6 quatrains. There I proved it to you. I proved how Farewell to Barn and Stack and Re has quatrains. Not only that, now if you look at the Kone Kal, a lot of Kone Kali joke have been happening from this in the beginning itself. If you look at the Kone Kal of every line, you guys can find the rhyme of the poem. Now, for example, you guys know that the famous poem, Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, right? Star, how I wonder what you are, up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky. And you guys basically can find the rhyme, all right? One more time. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are, up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky. So this is a nursery rhyme poem that your Nangis and Mallis learn, right? Your nursery rhyme, Chuti Babala, Nangis, Mallis, they learn this poem. So remember, if you look at the Kone Kal of every line, you can easily get the rhyming scheme of that stanza. What is the rhyming scheme of the stanza right here? Twinkle, twinkle, little star has the double A, double B rhyme. So whenever a word is given the same letter, how about star and R? They are given the letter A. So they have the same rhyme. Star and R, they rhyme together. So they are given the letter A. But high has a different rhyme. So I gave it the letter B. One more time, if you guys want to find the rhyme of a poem, it's a very new concept for our Chuti Babala. If you are a grade 11 pupil, you should know this by now. But if you don't, you have your Javitsa here to help you. So one more time, think about the poem, Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. Okay, a simple poem. Everyone knows how the poem works. Star, high, and then finally sky. If you were to find the rhyme of this poem, you would look at the Kone Kal. How do you find the rhyme of a poem? You look at the Kone Kal of every line. Star rhymes with R, I give it the A rhyme because these are words that rhyme with each other. If I wanted to, I can give it alpha, I can give it beta, I can give it sigma, I can give it C, I can give it Z. However, in our syllabus, we like to start with A, okay? In our syllabus, we like to start the rhyming scheme with the letter A. It's a lot more easier to organize the rhyming scheme if you start with A. High does not rhyme with R. High rhymes with sky. So I gave it the B rhyme. That's how you find the rhyme in a poem. So Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Stars rhyme is double A, double B. We will take a look at the rhyming scheme of Farewell to Barn and Stack Country. And don't worry, everyone, I have a brilliant presentation waiting for you guys. We will be doing the presentation now. And when we start doing the presentation, we are going to bulldoze through the poem, okay? We are going to bulldoze through it. It's going to be so easy. And in the end of this session, you guys are going to become masters of the poem, okay? What's a sonnet? Himayat, a sonnet is a 14-line poem with a formal rhyming scheme. There is only one sonnet in your syllabus, and that is To the Nile by John Keats. If you tell me that To the Evening Star is a sonnet, then your teacher did not teach you properly. To the Evening Star is not a sonnet. A sonnet is a 14-line poem with a formal rhyming scheme. There are two kinds of sonnets. In the A-level syllabus, there are Petrarchan sonnets and there are Shakespearean sonnets. Now tell me, to the Nile by John Keats, is it a Shakespearean sonnet or is it a Petrarchan sonnet? It is a Petrarchan sonnet. Gonna move forward. Oh, all right, gonna move forward then. As I was saying, though, give me 1 minute, please. As I was saying, so you guys now know that Farewell to Barn and Stack Country, right, is a poem under the theme of conflict, right? It is, how many quotes do you have in Farewell to Barn and Stack Country? You have 6 quatrains. Isn't that brilliant? And apart from that, you might also remember, 1 second, give me a minute. As I was saying, if you were to talk about how the rhyming scheme works in the poem, let me quickly switch back to our you guys know the what do you call the appreciation book. We're gonna move forward then, baby. Now we can look at the Kone Kal and find the rhyme of every stanza. It's so easy, okay? How are we going to find the rhyme of the stanzas, Baba? You guys know we are going to look at the Monakal. We are going to look at the Kone Kal. Tree rhymes with me. I can give it the letter A, right? Tree rhymes with me, so I can give it the letter A. Shore rhymes with more. I can give it the letter B. You guys know that hill rhymes with still. Can I give it the letter A? What do you guys think? No, I can't, because I have already given the letter A to the word tree, right? To the rhyme tree. Me, the E rhyme, has been given the letter A. So I clearly am going to be using the letter C here. Hill and still have the same rhyme. Dried and side also has the same rhyme. Why are we looking at the Kone Kal, Baba? We are looking at the Kone Kal of every line to find the rhyming scheme. Can you believe that? We are looking at the Kone Kal of every line to find its rhyming scheme. So I know that this is a very different and unorthodox method of teaching, right? So it's not about being narrow-minded. It's about using these shortcuts and learning the poem. So now you guys have learned so much about Farewell to Barn and Stack Country. We have not had our lesson for long, but you guys are already masters of the poem. You know that Farewell to Barn and Stack Country is a ballad under the theme of conflict. The poem has how many quatrains? 6 quatrains. And apart from that, now we're learning about the rhyming scheme, baby. So what do you mean by a quatrain? A quatrain is a poem with a stanza with 4 lines. And apart from that, you guys should also know that this poem is one of the very few poems in your syllabus. Apologies, not the very few poems. The only poem in your syllabus that is a ballad. Too easy, right? Gonna move forward then. So right now, we are going to focus on the rhyming scheme of Farewell to Barn and Stack Country. Away rhymes with day. What's the letter that I'm going to give away and day? Obviously, the letter E, right? Moan rhymes with alone. I shall give it the letter F. Isn't that easy? Letter F here. Shake rhymes with rake. I can give it the letter G here. Buy rhymes with I. I can give it H, right? I can give it the letter H. It keeps on going, okay? Pride rhymes with Lamestide. I can give it the letter I. Clean rhymes with green. I can give it the letter J. And wait rhymes with plate. I can give it the letter K. Fold rhymes with cold. I can give it the letter L. Do you understand how we found the rhyming scheme of Farewell to Barn and Stack Country? Very important, okay? Many teachers, what they do is, the moment they get the poem, they start reading the poem. And the pupil does not know the water that they are getting into. Know the water that you are getting into. Know what exactly you are learning. You are learning about Farewell to Barn and Stack Country. You are learning about this ballad under the theme of conflict. How many quotes do you have in the poem? You have 6 quotes, 6 quatrains, right? And now we found the rhyming scheme by looking at the monocal, the conocal of every line. We also did something else to A. Houseman's conocal, and we made him a Muslim. How do you spell A. Houseman's name? Without the E, you spell his name as A.E. Husman. If your teacher asks you how to spell A. Husman's name, tell her that A. Husman is a Muslim and spell his name like this. You can prove it to your teacher by showing her the teacher's guide. In the teacher's guide, his name is spelled properly. This is a typing error found in your appreciation book. Not many teachers are so invested in literature. Not many teachers are so absorbed into literature that they understand the mistakes in the print. They understand the mistakes in this, in your appreciation book. So I'm that crazy. Every single day I teach literature, okay? That's my job. Every single day, Monday to Sunday, and even after that, even on holidays, even on Poya days, even on festival days, I teach literature. Even today, Nangi, is my free day. Usually on Tuesdays, I don't have classes. But even on my free day, baby, because Javed sir loves his pupils, and I want to see you guys become masters of literature. I want to see you guys get a sweet, sweet A for literature. I'm conducting a class today because, again, not for my benefit, for your benefit, because I want to see my pupils. I want to see my pupils become successful. Literature is a very valuable subject. If you get A for literature, your result sheet is so valuable. When you go to a better school after your O-levels, now, the reason you do your O-levels is because you want to migrate to a better school, right? So as I was saying, if you go to a better school with A for literature, they are going to be more prone to select you in the interview process because not many pupils get A for literature. So at the moment, if you are in a school that you are not satisfied with, and you want to go to a better school after your O-levels, get an A for literature. And if you can, hell, get 9 A's. If you get 9 A's, obviously you're going to get selected to any school that you guys want to do your A-levels. So right now we talked about the rhyming scheme of Farewell to Barn and Stack Country. How did we find the rhyming scheme? We looked at the conocal, right? We looked at the conocal of every line. So as I was saying, right here, you got to take a look at how the rhyme alternates. The rhyme alternates. So what can we say? What kind of rhyme does it have? Alternate. rhyme. Very important, okay? Not many teachers talk about this. I have seen so many teachers talking about the AB rhyming scheme. AB, CD, EF, GH rhyming scheme. You can call it the AABB, CC. Apologies, AB, CD, EF. You can call it that rhyming scheme. But if you can say alternating rhyme, it's so brilliant. It's so perfect. So now you guys can write an intro paragraph about farewell to barn and stack country. After we write the intro paragraph, you guys, if you want, you can write this down, okay? It'll take 5 minutes. Vinadi pahai liwa, okay? Vinadi pahai, we can write it down. You can write this down if you want to. I will write this down on the screen. And after that, we are doing our presentation and we are bulldozing through farewell to barn and stack country. We are going to complete farewell to barn and stack country. Hopefully in tomorrow's exam, you will get farewell to barn and stack country. So here we go. This is how we do. This is how I give you notes in the class also. I write it on the screen itself, baby. No dictating. Farewell to barn and stack country. Once again, farewell to, not like that, okay? I type it on the screen itself. This is a intro paragraph, para for farewell to barn and stack country. And look, you guys understand, I'm not using ampersand, right? I'm not using ampersand. I'm not using BST. I'm writing the entire drama's poem's title on the screen itself, barn and stack and tree. So easy. There we go. By a houseman, the husband. Remember, we cut his E and we made him Muslim husman. H-O-U-S man. There we are. So how are you going to write the intro paragraph? Farewell. You start the intro paragraph by writing the title of the lesson. Farewell to barn and stack and tree. Too easy, right? Is a poem, the ballad. You can say poem, that's correct. But if you say ballad, the examiner will lose their mind. The examiner will want to give you more marks. Is a ballad, A ballad. Why is it a ballad? Because it has rhyme and rhythm. If it has rhyme and rhythm, it is classified as a ballad. A ballad, embedded means it is there. It is there, embedded under the theme of nature, life, humor, society, or conflict. Conflicts. Consisting of how many quartets? 6 quatrains. There we are. 6 quatrains. Too easy, right? Consisting of 6 quatrains. The poem, what can we say? The poem possesses what rhyme, Nangi? What do we call it? A, B, C, EF, not eka katai neither. We call it alternating rhyme, right? Alternating rhyme. How did I find alternating rhyme? Alternating rhyme. That's it. That is something that you can write about farewell to barn and stack and tree. All right. Farewell to barn and stack and tree is a ballad embedded under the theme of conflict, consisting of 6 quatrains. The poem possesses alternating rhyme. And what is it? And the narration. What is the narration, by the way? Narrated in the first person corner. I'll talk about this, okay? Narrated in the first person corner. I'll show you how this works. Everyone should know how to find the rhyme, okay? To find the rhyme, you look at the kone kal, twinkle, twinkle, little star. How I wonder what you are, up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky. Anevage, we found farewell to barn and stack and tree, farewell to Severn Shore. Terence, look your last at me, for I come home no more. Too easy. Narrated in the first person corner. What's a narration? A narration is when someone is talking to you. Narrated in the first person corner. I'll tell you what the first person corner is, okay? The poem is a confession. Confession of an impulsive, fratricide. Don't worry, write this down. I'll explain all of these words when we go into the presentation, okay? Narrated in the first person corner, the poem is a confession of an impulsive fratricide. The narrator, one moment. narrator has killed his brother, one moment, brother Maurice, and is confessing his crime to his friend, acquaintance. What's the name of his friend? Acquaintance. Friend, it is Terence. Too easy, man. That's it. That is farewell to barn and stack and tree. So hope you understand this. Our goal is to learn this paragraph while following the presentation. But you must memorize this paragraph right now. You must promise to Javed sir. Javed sir Phalla, okay? If not, Javed sir will die. You will lose a good literature teacher. Javed sir Phalla, that before the end of this class, you are going to memorize this intro paragraph. If not, Javed sir is no, okay? Javed sir gone. And then you won't have a literature teacher like Javed sir. Farewell to Barn and Stack and Tree is a poem under the theme, a ballad under the theme of conflict, consisting of 6 quatrains with alternating rhyme. We talked about it. Alternating rhyme. The poem is narrated in the first person corner, right? The poem is a confession of an impulsive fratricide. What do you mean by a fratricide? A brother killing his brother. Do you understand that? A brother killing his brother. His brother is called a fratricide, right? Do you understand how easy that is? It's a very fancy word, right? Now, many teachers in Sri Lanka are notorious for calling out the things that they don't know as wrong. Sometimes when you tell your teacher, madam, farewell to barn and stack and tree is a fratricide, neither. She might say, no, what's a fratricide? I don't know that. It's wrong. No, it's correct. The problem is your teacher might not know this, all right? Oh, yeah, you're right. Well done. Houseman doesn't have a E, right? Have I written the word houseman here? Oh, I'll mention it here, by the way. Tree by A. Houseman. We have to mention the name of the writer, the poet. A. Husman, right, is a ballad. Don't forget the comma before, after Husman, is a ballad embedded under the theme of conflict, consisting of 6 quatrains. The poem possesses alternating rhyme. Narrated in the first person corner, the poem is a confession. What do you mean by confession? You are admitting guilt. Admitting of guilt. If you did something wrong, you confess it, right? Sometimes you might confess your love. Do my genius pupils, you're right, Amra. Thanks a lot. Okay, my God, you're teaching me you're right. Thanks a lot, Amra. You're the best, okay? You're teaching me my own notes. Thank you so much. As I was saying, though, if you think about it, right, a fratricide is a brother killing another brother. What do you confess? That's a confession of love in our syllabus. Only one lesson. Now, sometimes you might think it is the nightingale and the rose. No, in the nightingale and the rose, there is no confession of love. There is a confession of love in The Bear by Anton Chekhov. When Smirnov falls in love with Popova, he confesses in love. He says, I'm on my knees like a fool, asking for your hand, right? Something like that. He confesses his love. I've never loved someone the way I love you. It's found in The Bear, okay? We are doing The Bear also in the future. Join our sessions if you guys can. The examiner would want to adopt you. Approved. Well done. If you write something like this, the examiner will find your house and the examiner will come and give you a kiss if you write a introductory paragraph like this. You're right. Alternating rhyme. Well done. Well done, Nangis. Well done, Varada. Well done, Mariam. Proud of you guys, okay? The poet, you're right. A. Houseman, the poet indeed. Yes, write this down in a separate, piece of paper, right? So going to move forward. Have I misspelled friend? Not fried. Thanks a lot. Friend indeed. His friend, F-R-I-N-D, right? There we are. Friend, Terence. Too easy, okay? The reason behind this impulsive fratricide, impulsive murder, we'll use the word murder here. Murder is unknown. It may be speculated. It can be, or it can be speculated. It may be speculated. Speculated means you can estimate something, you can guess something. Speculated. That it is the aftermath. It may be speculated that the murder is an aftermath. is the aftermath of a love triangle. A love triangle. There we are. That's it. Nevertheless, the narrator, one moment, I'll explain all of these. Okay, that's it. We are done. Last sentence, we are done. Okay. Nevertheless, the narrator declares that he will make a great escape from the due pursuit of the law, abandon. Hence, the narrator will abandon his agricultural landscape. Hence, the narrator will abandon his home surrounded by an agricultural landscape. We talked about all of these things, right? When we go through the presentation, you guys will have an even better understanding. Can you believe that? So easy, right? There we go. That's it. මෙතනින් එහාට මොකක්වත් ලියන්න දෙන්නේ නැහැ, okay? මෙතනින් එහාට මොකක්වත් ලියන්න දෙන්නේ නැහැ. That's it. And yeah, thanks a lot, by the way, okay, for the praise, and thanks a lot, Zikra, right, for the recommendations, for the praise. In the end of the day, I mean, this is kind of like a character that I play. In real life, I'm not like this, okay? In real life, I'm not this energetic. I don't go to Cargills and say, Nangi, mata denna sini kilo dekak. I'm not like that, okay? So this is kind of like a character I play in order to make education a lot more attractive, to make the session a lot more energetic. The methods I used to teach is, I know, controversial. It's unorthodox, but still it is the necessary evil, because I know that you guys still remember that Farewell to Barn and Stack Country has 6 quatrains. I know that you know that Emily Dickinson is the queen of the quatrains, and she has written a poem called A Bird Came Down the Walk that has how many quatrains? 5 quatrains. Richard Corey had 4 quatrains. I know that you memorized that Farewell to Barn and Stack Country by A. Houseman is a ballad embedded under the theme of conflict. It's given in the teacher's guide, given in the appreciation book, consisting of 6 quatrains. We talked about that. The poem possesses alternating rhyme, narrated in the first person corner. The poem is a confession of an impulsive fratricide. What do you mean by impulsive? Done with thought or done without thinking? Done without thinking. Fratricide. The narrator has killed his brother Maurice and is confessing his crime to his acquaintance, his friend Terence. The name of his friend is Terence. The name of the brother is Maurice. What do you mean by narrated in the first person corner? It means I am talking about my experience. The narrator is talking about his experience. So when I use I, my, mine, our, it is a first-person narration, right? It's a first-person narration. Tell me other lessons in your syllabus that have first-person narrations. There are 4. There are 4 prose in your syllabus. My genius pupils tell me, what are the 4 prose in your syllabus? There is an extract from Colin Cowdrey lecture, the Lahore attack, an extract from Wave. Are these third-person narrations or first-person narrations? Nangi, these are first-person narrations. Can you believe that? So, Anna, Evage, Farewell to Barn and Stack Country is also a first-person narration. Okay. Though the reason behind the impulsive murder is unknown, it may be speculated that the murder is the aftermath, the result. Aftermath means the negative result. Negative result of a love triangle. Now, who gave you the idea of a love triangle? Javed sir. Oh, no. It's given in the teacher's guide, okay? I swear to God, it's given in the teacher's guide. If you want, I can go to the teacher's guide right now, and I can look for the word love triangle. Here we are, love triangle. Triangle, right? Triangle. It's not there for some reason. Maybe triangle vitarak. I'll look for Farewell to Barn and Stack Country, okay? Now, you guys might think I'm lying. because I'm not. It's mentioned somewhere here that there must have been a love triangle. One moment. A predicament is like a very difficult situation. A predicament is a good word that we can use. One moment. Clue to the conflict, right? One moment. Ballad. Here we are. The brother, it's given in the teacher's guide, okay? The brother seemed to have loved the same woman. It's not given in the poem, but in the teacher's guide, they speculate. In the teacher's guide, they say that farewell to barn and stack and tree is a result due to a love triangle. What do you mean by love triangle? Eka kellai kollo dennai, right? Eka bicycle kollo deka. I'm kidding. It is when two boys love one girl. And again, boys don't like sharing, right? So one brother has killed the other brother because they love the same girl. Did Javed sir tell you this? Oh no, Javed sir did not tell you this. It's given in the teacher's guide. What do you mean by pursuit? Thanks a lot, Tabit. You're the best. The meaning of the word pursuit means chasing, right? The law means, you know the law, right? The police, because he has committed a murder, right? Nevertheless, the narrator declares that he will make a great escape from the due pursuit of the law. Hence, the narrator will abandon his home surrounded by an agricultural landscape, right? Thus, last line, okay? Thus, the narrator makes a heartfelt goodbye. Makes a heartfelt, goodbye is good. Goodbye. Heartfelt, somber goodbye to his background or to his hometown. Give me a second. That's the narrator makes a heartfelt, somber goodbye to his surroundings. There we are, surroundings. Through the title itself. Wait, that's it. Good enough. That's the narrator makes a heartfelt, somber goodbye to his surroundings, right? So again, what does he say? Farewell, right? A somber farewell is better. Without saying goodbye, say farewell. Like farewell means I'm coming back again. Now you guys have farewell parties, right? Oh yeah, lamenting over the past. I love that also. Well done, dude. We can use all of those ideas. Somber means sad. Somber kya is sad, okay? Sad. A sad goodbye. So easy. If you guys write 10 analyses like this, you guys will start writing better than Javed, sir. So easy. These are words that we can use every day. The problem is you might not be accustomed to using these words, but eventually you will, okay? Oh yeah, I trimmed my beard also a little bit. You're right, Tabit. Thanks for noticing. Somber, somber means dull. That's correct. But oh yeah, you're right. It's like sad, rugged. It's basically almost the same, okay? I mean, not 100% sad, but dull is also correct. But the word sad is also correct, okay? So like in English, words can have more than one meaning. If you take a look at the word somber, it's kind of like, what can we say? Shady, dull. So when someone is dull, they are like sad, neither. Don't you agree? Like when someone is dull, aren't they sad? But the actual word is dull, okay? You're right. So I mean, again, if you think about it, I'll use the word dull here. I'm not going to argue, okay, Hasna? You're right. But when you call someone dull, they are sad, right? Now, for example, if you're sad in school, your friends might ask you, why are you so dull today, Fatima? What happened, Fatima? Why dull? Okay, gonna move forward then. Thanks a lot, Hani. Okay, you're the best, dude. So now that we know about farewell to barn and stack and tree, we know the intro paragraph. We can write the intro paragraph in the exam. We are going to start learning the poem, baby. The presentation will be over in half an hour. I'll give you guys like 5 minutes. 5 minutes, okay, to write this down. Satapatagala, few minutes. And the parts that I have highlighted, please make sure that you guys learn the meanings of these words. Due pursuit of the law. He declares means he says, or he claims. Declares means claims that he will make a great escape from the due pursuit of the law. Hence, the narrator will abandon his home surrounded by an agricultural landscape. Thus, the narrator makes a heartfelt, somber farewell to his surroundings. I want to use his tone also. We'll talk about that later, which is congruent. What is congruent? We've seen this word in maths also, right? Which is Congruent is like similar, which goes hand in hand, is almost similar, is similar. Remember, these are not the exact meanings, okay? But then they are somewhat correct. Similar is similar. Not smiler, give me a moment. Similar is similar. Congruent is congruent to his repenting tone. Repenting tone. Or you can even use the word, lamenting, repenting, or even lamenting. Lamenting. Lamenting means you are talking about your sadness. Repenting means you feel bad that you have done something wrong. These are two different words, but we can use them in the same scenario. Somber can be spelled both ways, Kias. No issue, okay? You can spell it the American way or you can spell it the British way also. But because this spelling is recognized. The spelling with the ER is recognized. That's amazing, okay? That's basically it. What do you mean by tone? The tone is the emotion of the narrator. The emotion of the narrator. Emotion of the narrator. That's it. Done. We're done with the notes. Now we can jump right into our session. Too easy, right? Done writing neither. Congruent is not 100% equal, but it is kind of like equal, okay? So congruent means it's in harmony. Like when triangles are congruent, they are not 100% equal, okay? That means the sizes might vary. They look identical. They are not 100% equal. They look identical, congruent. So here it is similar. So thus the narrator makes a heartfelt, somber farewell to his surroundings, which is congruent to his repenting, lamenting tone. There we are. The farewell is congruent to his repenting, lamenting tone. You might not know the meanings of these words. I promise I'm going to talk about the meanings of these words right now. Hot, the presentation is waiting for you. The poem is a ballad, monk you are neither. Why is the poem a ballad? Because it has a formal rhyming scheme. What kind of a rhyme does the poem have? We talked about the rhyme. You look at the Kone Kal to find the rhyme. The rhyme was A, B, C, D, E, F, E. You can keep doing this. Or Kelingpar, you can say, what rhyme, Baba? Your geniuses. Well done, Salma. Shamla. Alternating rhyme. Okay, alternative name. Alternating rhyme. Alternative is a different word. Don't confuse them, okay? Alternating rhyme. Too easy, okay? All right. And that is why it is a ballad, because it has a rhyme and also has a rhythm. The rhythm is very easy to understand. When you recite the poem, you automatically get the rhythm. Farewell to barn and stack and tree. Farewell to sever and show. Terence, look your last at me, for I come home no more. Too easy, right? Gonna move forward then, baby. There we are. We have the rhyming scheme. Like I said, how do you find the rhyming scheme? You look at the Kone Kal of every line. Tree, me, they rhyme with each other. Show, mo, they rhyme with each other. There's also a rhythm, right? This rhyme right here, even though we call this A, B, C, D, E, F, the rhyme is called alternating rhyme. Too easy. Now, there is a rhythm, but this is out of syllabus, okay? This is out of syllabus, so we won't learn this. There's no point of learning this. Out of syllabus. There we are, too easy. So we'll not talk about this, but remember, there is a rhythm. How do you find the rhythm? By reciting the poem. Farewell to barn and stack and tree. Like you can march while reciting the poem, right? Farewell to barn and stack and tree. Farewell to sever and show. Terence, look your last at me, for it is such a eerie rhythm that you guys find in the poem. That is why the poem is a ballad, baby. How many quatrains are there in Farewell to Barn and Stack and Tree? 6 quatrains, right? A houseman, the husman, a husman is his name. So basically, what do you mean by farewell? You have farewell parties, right? You have farewell parties in school. Will you come back after your farewell party? After you have the farewell party, will you come back again tomorrow? No, you're going forever, right? You will never return to school as an O-level pupil after your farewell party. You are never gonna Go back to studying grade 10 and grade 11. You are going forever. Farewell. Mga ay parak ane. Farewell is a permanent goodbye, right? Bidding farewell to inanimate objects. So if I am saying goodbye to these inanimate objects, what are they? They are the barn. They are the stack. What do you mean by stack? Haystack, right? There's another word for haystack. Onan liagan. Haystack is called rick, okay? Rick. Rick is another word for haystack, okay? And make a note of this in your memory itself, okay? Without writing them down, make a note of this part in your memory itself. Haystack is also called rick. There's another inanimate object. There is another, yeah, and you're right, I've misspelled farewell. Thanks a lot. It's farewell neme, right? There's another inanimate object that you guys know in the title. Well done, Shad. Genius you are, man. The tree, right? So because the narrator is saying goodbye to all of these objects, farewell to barn and stack and tree, he is, there's a technique called personification, okay? It means you're giving human qualities to a non-human thing. For example, I'm saying that the camera is watching me. Can the camera really watch me? Absolutely not. That's a personification. My bed, when it becomes night, my bed calls my name. Fatima. The bed calls my name. My name isn't Fatima, but you get the point, right? That is an example for personification. In the early morning, when it's raining outside, my blanket, my sheet hugs me. I kiss my pillow. I am kissing the water bottle right now. These are all examples for personification. These are all examples for personification. The inanimate objects are the barn, the stack, the haystack, and then we have the tree. Too easy, right? We have the barn, we have the haystack, and then we have the tree. These are inanimate objects you find in farewell to barn and stack and tree. What is personification? Giving human qualities to a non-human thing. Another example would be if your friend pulls out some money, all right? And you tell your friend, hey, Tangachi, your money is smiling at me. Is your friend's money really smiling at you? No, it is a personification. The three objects that the narrator bids farewell to is a barn, a stack, and a tree. There is another word for haystack. What's that? A rick. All right. Rick is another word for a haystack. You'll understand why I taught you this. Okay. All right. We talked about the poem being a confession. What do you mean by confession? You are admitting guilt. You are telling the truth about your mistakes. A fratricide is a brother killing a brother. We talked about this, right? Bro, kill, bro. That is a fratricide. The poet persona or the narrator is another word for poet persona. The narrator has murdered his brother, Maurice. We learn that the name of the brother's name is Maurice and is confessing to Terence. We talked about this in the intro paragraph, right? The murder appears to be impulsive and not premeditated. What do you mean by impulsive? Doing without thinking, without thought. However, premeditated means well-planned. Premeditated means well-planned. Hope you understand that, okay? The murder appears to be impulsive and not premeditated. The murder is well-planned, right? Not well-planned. Neme, it was impulsive. How do you know that the murder was impulsive? It's given in the teacher's guide. What happened? Who killed whom? The narrator murdered his brother Maurice. Because the narrator killed his brother, it's called a fratricide. What do you mean by tone? The tone is the emotion of the narrator. The problem is, sometimes pupils might confuse the poet and the narrator. They might think that the narrator and the poet are the same person. Nah. The narrator is a different person, right? Narrator is a different person. The poet is a different person. Now, for example, imagine Fatima, all right, is a poetess, a world-famous poetess, okay? Poetess means female poet. For example, heiress, prince, princess, peness. I'm kidding. I have no idea what that is. Get the point, right? Teacher, teacheress. I'm kidding. There's nothing like that. Man, maness. No. Sometimes some verbs, some nouns, you can put us after it and you can make it female. Mr., mistress. Like that, like that. Fatima is a poetess, and she writes a poem called Doggy Doggy. All right, the poem's name is Doggy Doggy, a world-famous poem, okay? A world-famous poem called Doggy Doggy. The first doggy is a noun, second doggy is a verb, okay? So in this poem, the narrator is a dog, okay? Is a dog, all right? The narrator is a dog. So now can you tell me that Fatima is a dog? Nah, malakeliai guti kanna wenne Fatima gang. No, you can't say that Fatima is a dog. Fatima is the poetess. The narrator is a dog. Do you understand that? The poetess is Fatima. The narrator is a dog. So like that, the poet is A.E. Husman. The narrator is a person, a brother who committed fratricide. The narrator in Farewell to Barn and Stack and Tree is whose brother? The narrator is Maurice's brother. All right. The narrator is Maurice's brother. There is a remorseful, there is a repenting tone. What do you mean by remorseful repenting? You feel sad that you have made the mistake. You are now, you regret your mistake. Remorseful, repenting tone. All of these ideas was given in the intro paragraph. If you guys can't spell the word fratricide, okay, just remember this shortcut. It's a mnemonic. It's a memory puzzle. It's a fat, a rat, a re, and side, okay? So a re in Sinhala means putting a shit, okay? I'm being very honest with you guys. Re in Sinhala means putting kaki, okay? In Sinhala, there is like, hey, don't use this in Sinhala classes, okay? Madam, mang reela ennang, mang renava, madam, don't use those words. It's a bad word. But it's a word that you guys can use to memorize this word, okay? So frat, fat, rat, re means putting a shit in Sinhala. Side is like suicide. Or in the side of the room, right? A fat rat is putting a shit in the side of the room. One more time. A fat rat is putting a shit in the side of the room. Fat, rat, re, C-I-D-E, side, fratricide. What do you mean by fratricide? A brother killing another brother. A brother killing another brother is called a fratricide. My teacher taught me that Terence is a housemaid. Who told your teacher that Terence is a housemaid? Terence is a man's name, by the way, but like who taught your teacher that? Poi, those are lies, okay? Fatima can't. Absolutely right. Fatima is the poetess and the dog is the narrator here. A Husman is the poet. The narrator is Maurice's brother. What did Maurice's brother do? A fat rat putting a shit in the side, fratricide. One more time, rat-re-side is how you spell the word. I know you will never forget the spelling for fratricide. Now, as long as you leave the session with knowledge, I am a successful teacher. I don't want to be the most professional teacher. I don't want to be the most popular teacher. I want to be the teacher who makes you do work and who makes you memorize these important points. I will use whatever illegal method I can to win and give you guys the knowledge you deserve. Now, there are people who play games in different strategies. This is my strategy of teaching. You seldom forget these words. You know the meaning of the word fratricide. You know the meaning of the word quatrain now. You know how to find the rhyme of every poem by looking at the Konekal. That is my strategy of teaching. In the end of the day, if you leave the session with knowledge, I am successful. Going to move forward. We talked about a confession, right? What do you mean by confession? Admitting guilt. You are saying that you made a mistake. We confess our love. We confess our mistakes, right? We confess our fantasies, right? Confessing. You are admitting your mistakes. So remember, a confession is a formal statement of guilt. Who is confessing to whom? The narrator is confessing to Terence. Terence is not the narrator's housemaid. Oh, no. The Terence is actually the narrator's friend, right? Terence is the narrator's acquaintance. We don't know who Terence is. Some people say Terence is a horse. Those are not given in our teacher's guide. We just know that that Terence is the person that the narrator is making the confession to. What is the narrator confessing? He's confessing his fratricide. He is confessing the murder of his brother. Remember, the love triangle idea is given in the teacher's guide. Okay, so one guy is Maurice. One guy is Maurice. Another guy is Kauder. Maurice's bro. We don't know the name of the narrator, right? Oh yeah, speaker and narrator are the same people, Kias. You're right, dude. Speaker and narrator are the same person. For Terence is a friend. That makes sense. You're right. Terence is a friend, right? That's better, Nuha. So basically, Terence is a person that the narrator is talking to. We can assume that Terence is a friend, okay? So remember, the narrator is confessing to Terence. The narrator killed Maurice, and the narrator is now confessing to Terence, okay? Terence is a guy's name, by the way. Too easy. Absolutely. Confessing love is kind of like we have made a mistake, right? I mean, when you love someone, you're guilty, right? When you like someone, right? You love someone, confessing your love to an unknown person, right? Especially if you don't know that person, it feels very guilty, right? You feel very guilty when you confess to an unknown person. Teacher said Terence is a neighbor. It's not correct. Come on, neighbor name. Just call Terence a friend, okay? It's not given in the teacher's guide. We can assume that Terence is a friend. We can't prove that Terence is a neighbor. What do you mean by neighbor? Terence lives next door. You can't prove that. But we can assume that Terence is a friend. All right. So basically, we can go to the first stanza right now. Farewell to barn and stack country. Farewell to Severn Show, not Severn. Some people think that this is Severn. No, it's Severn. Severn Show is a place in Britain, okay? It is a location. A location in Britain. In Britain is called Severn Show, not Severn. Severn. One more time, Severn in Britain, right? In Britain. Too easy. Farewell is repetition, right? But there's another technique. When there is repetition in the beginning of a line, it is called anaphora, all right? Anaphora. Repetition found in the beginning of a line is called anaphora, baby. Farewell to barn and stack country has anaphora here. If you can't remember anaphora, remember repetition. Farewell to barn and stack country. Farewell to Severn Show. Now again, he's talking to these, the barn and the stack and tree. Are they humans? Are they non-humans? They are non-humans. So it is a personification. A personification is what we find here. When you are giving human qualities to a non-human thing, you call it a personification. Now, let's say you want to kaki kaki choo choo, and you say the toilet is calling my name now. You want to go to the bathroom really urgently, and you say the toilet is calling my name. That is also a personification. Equally, you find personification here, right? So we see that the narrator is talking to a person called Terence. Terence, look your last at me. Look at me one last time. Because I come home no more. Farewell to barn and stack and tree. Goodbye, barn. Goodbye, stack. Goodbye, tree. And farewell to Severn Show. Goodbye, the location where I live in. Hey, Terence, look at me one last time, for I come home no more. I'm not sure, Ian. I'm not very sure whether this will be given in the first part of this year. Okay, I'm not predicting anything, but you might get this poem. Who knows, right? You might get the poem. You might not. Regardless, I am here to teach farewell to barn and stack and tree, right? Didn't see that now. Okay, gonna move forward then. Oh no, actually no, Shahif. There's nothing like that. Okay, there is no proof to say that these people are, in love. We only know what the teacher's guide has told us. So basically, you know that the narrator is leaving, right? The narrator is leaving. He says farewell twice. So when you use repetition, you show your urgency, right? One more time. Imagine you want to kaki kaki choo choo and someone is inside the bathroom. Do you politely knock on the door and say, excuse me, can you please give me an opportunity to? No, you're like, come out, man, come out. Suruka vangale, I want to go, right? You're using repetition. So when you use repetition, you are emphasizing urgency. Farewell, farewell is repetition. The narrator wants to leave in his own time, or does he want to urgently leave? He wants to urgently leave. Too easy, right? That is. Gonna move forward then. So we found farewell being repetition, anaphora, personification was found. Alliteration is easy. If you don't know these techniques, don't worry. You can learn these whenever you want. When there are adjacent words beginning with the same sound, it's called alliteration. I'll also show you guys how to get these tutorials, by the way, okay? Through WhatsApp, through Google Drive, you guys can get these tutorials. Drop us a message. I'll share my contact details with you guys very quickly, okay? It's not 77-963-9434. You guys can contact us for the tutorials, okay? For these PDFs, I'll love to help you guys get an A for the exam, even if you guys are my current pupils or not. Gonna move forward then. Yeah, you're right. What do you call it? Himayat. Severn is actually a location in Britain. You're right. Severn show is a location in Britain, okay? Yeah, it might, okay? Ian, it might come for part 1. I'm not very sure. I can't predict the paper, sadly. It might come to part 1, it might not. It depends on the person who's making your paper, right? So if you're lucky, you might get this in part 1, but you will definitely get a question from the bear in part 1, from Twilight of a Crane in part 1. So learn those also. Those dramas are very important. You're right. Well done, Salma. Severn show is an alliteration. Can we consider no more as an internal rhyme? Yes, Shifana, you're right. No more is internal rhyme, but not very important, right? There's another technique called anastrophe. When you jumble the words in a sentence, I come home no more, look your last at me. They are like anastrophe, but we can't talk about all of the techniques in the exam. They're not important. All of the techniques are not important, but you're right. No more is actually internal rhyme. So here's the deal, okay? You're right, Shiv. You're right. I do agree. But the problem is this, dude. We can't prove those points. And they're not in our teacher's guide, right? Saying that Terence is a homosexual, right? We can't prove them. It's not in the teacher's guide also. In the teacher's guide, Shiv, they have clearly said that it's a love triangle. The reason for the fratricide is a love triangle. What do you mean by love triangle? Eka bicycle ai kollo dennai, right? So one guy kills the other guy because he's in love with a girl. Okay. So yeah, if you guys need any help from Javed sir, contact me. Here's the number, by the way, 77-963-9434. We talked about stanza 1, so we know that the narrator is leaving, but we don't know the reason, right? You must read stanza number 2 to know the reason behind the narrator's departure. What is it called? The technique is called suspense. Suspense, right? Why is there suspense? Why is there suspense in this example? Because we don't know the reason why the narrator is leaving. Not until we read the second stanza, right? Not until we read the second stanza will we realize that the narrator has committed a fratricide, okay? So the technique is called suspense. Apologies, made a small mistake here. Give me a second. I'm really shaky when I write. You guys know I can type better than I can write. Suspense. There we are. Give me a moment. Suspense, right? Suspense, too easy. So, as I was saying, when you read the second part, all right, when you read the second stanza, you get a better understanding about the reason behind the narrator leaving. So here we go. The sun burns on the half-moon hill. So when you say the sun is burning, what does it mean? It is, and you're right, the river Severn is found in Britain, right? It's mentioned here. Severn Show, right? Severn Show is a location near the river Severn, and this is found in Britain, okay? You find this in Britain. Too easy, right? Okay. So we have look your last at me is not coming back anymore. The sun burns on the half-moon hill. So what does the narrator feel like? He feels cool, he feels fun, or does he feel heat? He feels heat, right? When you do something wrong, you start sweating. And when your mistakes are about to be discovered, all right? When people are going to find out your mistakes, you start sweating bricks, you start sweating bullets, right? You're sweating a lot, you feel the heat. That is exactly what the narrator feels like, right? What is a metaphor? How do you identify it? By God, metaphors, we don't have metaphors in Farewell to Barn and Stack Country, Ian. So metaphor is when you take two nouns and put them together. Now I say that Fatima is an angel, a metaphor, right? Fatima is a noun, angel is a noun, Fatima is an angel, is a metaphor. Mountain, walls, that's a metaphor. Mountain is a noun, metaphor, wall is also a noun. But remember, are metaphors real, Ian, or are metaphors fake? Metaphors are fake. You can't make a mountain out of walls, right? Your walls can't become mountains. Mountain walls is a metaphor. Fatima is an angel, is a metaphor. Banks of velvet head. In A Bird Came Down the Walk, we found a velvet head. Can you really make a head out of velvet? No, it's a metaphor. Take two nouns and put them together, you get a metaphor. So hope you understand that. There was another example in To the Nile by John Keats. Moon Mountain was a metaphor also. By now the blood is dried. So remember, I told you guys, there is a very prominent technique here in Farewell to Barn and Stack Country. What is the technique? Suspense. Right? Suspense is the technique, baby. So as I was saying, now we start realizing blood, right? Blood is also a repetition you find in Farewell to Barn and Stack Country. Repetition. So what do you mean by mown? Mown means cutting grass. Cutting grass. So who cuts grass? I mean, not grass, but usually farmers, right? Remember, the narrator lives in an agricultural background. Half-moon hill. A hill is kind of like a high ground. The sun burns on the half-moon hill. By now the blood is dried, and Maurice amongst the hay lies still. That means he's not moving, and my knife is in his side. So you can prove that the narrator has killed his brother, Maurice. Right now, we don't know that Maurice is the narrator's brother. We learned that in stanza 3. So tell me about Maurice. Maurice, is he living until 100 years, Noor Ais? Or is Maurice Seth the Pochi? Maurice is Seth the Pochi. Who killed Maurice? The narrator killed Maurice. How do you know that the narrator kills Maurice? He confesses. The sun burns on the half-moon hill. By now the blood is dried, and Maurice amongst the hay lies still. Maurice is lying on the hay. He's not moving, and my knife is in his side. So what's the murder weapon? You're right, Shamaz. The narrator is tensed. He is what do you call, panicking? You're right. The narrator feels tension. You're right. Well done, Shamaz, okay? The weapon is a knife, right? The murder weapon is a knife. You're right. There is excessive guilt that the narrator feels here. You can prove the narrator's guilt by his words. The sun burns on the half-moon hill. He feels the heat. All right. He talks about the murder weapon. He talks about blood. So because Maurice's death is not told to us directly, it's called euphemism. When you are telling something bad indirectly. Another example for euphemism is, imagine this. Imagine when someone is dead. Do we say Popova's late husband, or do we say Popova's dead husband? In The Bear by Anton Chekhov, we call him Popova's late husband, Jagan's late wife. What's the name of Jagan's late wife? Varada. It is Ambika. What is the name of Popova's late husband? He is Nikolai Mihalovich. When you say they are late, that means they are Setapochi. Euphemism, saying something bad indirectly. Now imagine Fatima gets pregnant, okay? Will Fatima's mother run around town saying, my daughter is pregnant, my daughter is pregnant? No, right? She will call her friends and say, Adiye kele, good news on the right? Fatima's mom will be like, that's a good news, right? That's euphemism. If Fatima's mom spoke fluent English, she'll be like, hey, my daughter Fatima is expecting. My daughter Fatima is so innocent. She doesn't know anything actually, but she's expecting. Hi, my daughter Fatima is expecting. What do you mean by expecting? Expecting means she's going to get the baba, right, baba? She's going to get the baba in a few months, in 9 months. That means that is an example for euphemism. When you are saying something bad indirectly, you are using euphemism. Hope you understand that. Okay. So what is the euphemism we find in this stanza? And Maurice amongst the hay lies still. Maurice is not moving. He is bloody and my knife is in his side. He does not say he murdered Maurice. He indirectly gives you the idea. That's called euphemism. Now, the example for euphemism, Popova's late husband, Jagan's late wife. My daughter Fatima is expecting. Good news on the right? Too easy. How about this? Oh yeah, when you want to kaki, you say nature is calling, right? When I was very young, when I was like grade 6, we used this euphemism a lot. Mama, nature is calling, mama. That's how we use the euphemism for fun, actually. So when you're saying something bad indirectly, and I read all of your chats, okay, I can see all of your chats, but there are so many of chats. That's why I don't answer, but I'm going through all of your chats, okay? I'm definitely going through all of your chats. The problem is I can't reply to all of them because I get like 10 chats per second, something like that. Okay, gonna move forward then. I will, however, answer all of your needed questions. So we talked about the narrator in the first stanza, farewell to barn and stack country, farewell to sever and show. Terence, look here, last at me, for I come home no more. The sun burns on the half-mown hill, by now the blood is dried, and Maurice amongst the hay lies still, and my knife is in his side. My knife is in the side of Maurice. I murdered Maurice. The narrator confesses to the murder of his brother Maurice, but until now we don't know whether Maurice is the narrator's brother. We are going to learn it right now. My mother, the narrator starts talking about his mother. Thinks us. Who are us? Maurice and the narrator, right? Long away, tis. Tis is a very good example for archaic language. Archaic language. Nangi, can you tell me another lesson, another poem in our syllabus where there was archaic language? What's that poem? Tis was found in that poem. To the Nile by John Keats. Not Old English, Umeima. Old English is different. Old English is a different language. It's a Germanic language, okay? Old English is a German sounding language. Archaic language is outdated and formal, okay? And formal. That is called archaic language. You guys might have seen Ponniyin Selvam, right? The movie, not a bad word. The movie, right? In that they use archaic language, right? They don't use normal Vapo, not like that, right? Selungal Maharaja, something like that. So that's archaic language. In Sinhala literature also, you have Satarakan Mantra, right? Satarakan Mantra, something like that. That is archaic language, right? In Tamil literature, in Tamil language and literature also, you have archaic language. So archaic language is not Old English. Archaic language is outdated yet formal English, okay? It's not Old English. It still falls under modern English, but it is outdated and formal. Old English has completely different spelling, completely different letters. So don't confuse Old English and archaic language. We found the word tis in To the Nile by John Keats. Tis ignorance that makes a barren waste of all beyond itself. Thou dost bid you green, rushes like our rivers, and dost taste the pleasant sunrise. Oh yes, Javed sir is one of the very few teachers who has memorized all of the poems in your syllabus. There are many teachers who teach literature, but they don't talk about memorizing. Why should we memorize the poems? Only then can you write an analysis. Only then can you take the poem to the exam. You can't write the poem in a small chit, a small piece of paper, and put it inside your pocket, and in the exam you can't pull it out. You have to memorize the poem. You have to memorize the poems. if you want to write them, if you want to use them in the exam, if you want to write an analysis in the exam. So I am one of the very few teachers who have memorized all of the poems, the important extracts from the dramas, the prose, the novels. I teach all 3 novels also. And if you guys want to support your Javed sir, okay? Here is Isaac.com. Like Javed sir, Isaac.com is also the best. Right now, you guys might be joining online websites, but none of the online websites have the features that Isaac.com has. This is our website. We teach many subjects through Isaac.com for the O-levels, English medium, and the A-levels, English medium, national syllabus. In order to become a part of Isaac.com, you have to first join, click on join. Then there's a form. You can fill the form in 5 minutes. And basically, you can log in. I'll log in using one of my student accounts, okay? And show you the features in Isaac.com. There we are. 1 second. There we go. So if you log into Isaac.com, the first thing you're going to see is the notice board like this, okay? The notice board is like very basic. However, things get really interesting when you go under all classes and live classes. If you take a look under this, you see many classes that we teach here in Isaac.com. There's history. There is ICT. There's English language, right? There's this guy called Javed Hossain, some guy, he teaches literature, I think. Have you heard of him? I have not heard of him ever. There's this guy called Javed, he teaches literature in Isaac.com. If you want to join his classes, you can click on Educators, Javed Hossain. You can click on Category. You can click on O-level, and boom. Now you find the classes taught by your Javed sir. I don't know who this is, by the way, some random guy who teaches in Isaac.com. You can join many classes. And remember, Javed sir is one of the very few teachers in Sri Lanka who teaches all 3 novels properly. I teach Bringing Tony Home, The Prince and the Pauper, and The Vendor of Sweets, right here. Bringing Tony Home, The Prince and the Pauper, and The Vendor of Sweets. So it's very expensive to join all of these classes separately. But if you join one of the VIP slots, you can join all of these classes for a fixed amount per month, okay? If you like, you guys can join Javed sir's classes. It'll really support what we are doing here, because in Isaac.com, we want to add value into online education. Not only that, so that is not it. There's more. If you are a VIP, you guys get these tutorials from Javed sir, okay? So I'm going to send you guys, Shahat, I love you, by the way, man. You're my favorite, okay, Shahat? Sadly, for the previous batch, we missed it. I will send you guys tutorials also from this batch onwards, sadly. Because again, I was tied up with so much work in the previous batch. But we have colored tutorials for you guys, okay? So we can send you tutorials also from this month onwards. If you can support Isaac.com, if you can join our classes, if you can tell your friends to join our classes, that will be amazing. We can keep producing valuable content for you guys. This is a free seminar, but imagine if the free seminar is this good. Imagine how awesome the paid classes would be. So we have tutorials like this. We'll send you guys printed tutorials through post. It will make your literature journey a lot more easier. This is for the Clown's Wife by Johnson Agard. So, however, there's more, okay? As I was saying, if you take a look under the calendar feature here in Isaac.com, okay? Once you join the classes, you guys can also watch recordings through Isaac.com. If you go under a slot, now, for example, if you want to see what we did this Monday, yesterday, you can click on this tile right here and click on watch recording. The recordings are available in Isaac.com itself. I promise you, there is no website in Sri Lanka with this technology. We are spending 1 lakh per month teaching, maintaining Isaac.com. I promise you, you might think I'm lying, but we spend 1 lakh per month maintaining Isaac.com. It's so valuable. The reason we do it is because we want to make you guys valuable individuals. We want to give you guys your sweet A's. We want to give back to the community and we want to create value, okay? So I promise you, there is no other website. You might be attending so many websites, right? You might have heard of them. You might know like 3-4 websites in Sri Lanka that teaches online. Sadly, they are not like Isaac.com. What is the other benefit of the calendar feature? You guys You guys, and by the way, you made me the best, okay? You guys are the people who made me the best. I was not this good. Isaac.com was not the best. It is your participation. It is your word of mouth. It is your hard work. It is your success that makes Isaac.com and Javed sir the best. Without you guys, I could have not come this far. Without your participation, we could have not conducted this seminar and made this valuable. Again, it is always an honor to be called your teacher. And you can go back and you can see what we have done in the previous classes. Now, for example, if you ask me, Javed sir, what did you teach last month? I can go to last month and I can point out here. I can point it out here that I taught you, for example, I taught you the vendor of sweets on Sunday of the 14th of last month. You can even watch the recording of that class easily. Watch the recording like this, all right? And also, you can access the e-notes of these classes through the calendar feature itself. One more time, let me go back. Through the calendar feature itself, Nangi, you can get the e-notes, you can get the tutorials of these classes. However, if you guys can't afford to join Isaac.com, okay, you can still drop me a message through WhatsApp. Javed sir's number is not 779639434. Okay, one more time, not 779639434. I'll put it in the chat also. Not 779639434. All right, there we go. So make sure you save my number. Drop me a message if you need any help regarding literature. And if you want to join our classes in Isaac.com and help us become even better. In the end, Javed sir's ambition is to start his own school. I want to start my own school. That is the ending of my journey. That is like the ambition that I have had for a very long time. And Isaac.com is the beginning. So you guys can understand how much we value education. Your participation will make Isaac.com and will make Javed sir even better, okay? We will create even more value. However, and also drop me a message, okay? We have history at the moment. We've got ICT. We have English language. We are getting maths from next month onwards. We are working on with a lot of other teachers. But remember, the teachers in Isaac.com are very fluent with their English. We don't like teachers teaching in broken English. Puta, right. Do this, that. I don't like that English. I want perfect English because English medium teacher should represent English medium, right? I can't teach English medium in Tamil. I can't teach English medium in Sinhalese. I can't use broken English. I have to use perfect English. Only then will the pupil resonate with the language. Only then will you guys be fluent with the language. Obviously, drop me a message through WhatsApp. I'll definitely help you out. And again, help us out also by joining Isaac.com. But right now, we're focusing on why the narrator is the brother of Maurice. My mother thinks as long away 'tis time the fields were mown. She had 2 sons at rising day. Tonight she'll be alone. There we are. Another example for euphemism. What do you mean by euphemism? Telling something bad indirectly, right? There's a very good teacher conducting English in Isaac.com. Her name is Miss Atika, okay? So yeah, we'll help you out. Drop us a message through WhatsApp. I will definitely try, okay, Shahat? I will definitely try to send you the tutorials. The others, the pupils of this batch, you guys will definitely get the tutorials. So here's the deal, okay? As I was saying, now you know that the narrator is one of the sons of his mother, and the other son, we can imagine or we know, is Maurice, right? The other son is Maurice. What's the reason? Tonight she'll be alone. Why will the mother be alone tonight? One of the sons is Setapochi. The other son is Wodipochi, right? One more time. One son is Setapochi. What's his name? Maurice. Maurice was killed. And the narrator is the other son. He is running away. So she had 2 sons. At rising day, tonight she'll be alone. Again, now you can prove that Farewell to Barn and Stack and Tree is a ballad under the theme of conflict. It consists of how many quatrains? 6 quatrains. A-B rhyming scheme. It's called the alternating rhyming scheme. And the narration is a confession about a fratricide. What do you mean by fratricide? It means a brother killing another brother. How do you spell fratricide? A fat, a rat, putting a shit, re in the side. There we are. Fratricide. Too easy, right? Let's move forward then. We talked about these words also, right? Us long away, Maurice and the narrator are far away. Moan means cut the grass. Tis means it is. My mother thinks us long away, 'tis time the fields were mown. She had 2 sons at rising day. In the morning she had 2 sons. Now she has only, she has no sons at all, right? Because one son is Setapochi, the other son is Odipochi. The VIP, I believe, is 2,000, and there's another VIP for 2,200. If you join the VIP, per month you have to pay 2,000 or 2,200. If you join the VIP, however, you get to join all of the classes, okay? You can join all of our O-level classes if you join one of the VIPs. We'll talk about that in a bit. Right now, we're focusing on the juxtaposition of night and day. Now, juxtaposition sounds like a very difficult technique. Not really. If you take 2 opposite ideas, okay, opposite. If you take 2 opposite ideas and you talk about their differences, for example, if you put a tall man next to a short girl, that is juxtaposition, right? Do you understand that? If you take a dark African man, right? African man, and you put the African man next to a fair white man, right? If you put the African man next to a fair white man, it is juxtaposition. Do you understand that? Old person and younger person, you can juxtapose them. Another example, rich and poor is juxtaposed in one of our poems. My genius pupils, tell me where rich and poor is juxtaposed. Well done, Varada. It is found in Richard Cory by Edwin Arlington Robinson. We found the rich and poor being juxtaposed. Whenever Richard Cory went downtown, we people on the pavement, we are poor. Richard Cory is rich, and he was rich. Yes, richer than a king. And yeah, and thanks a lot, by the way, Amra. Again, we want to create value, Nangi. We basically want to make your experience a lot more positive. And in the end of the day, okay, our goal is to make you guys get A's. And I tell this a lot in my classes. I want my O-level pupils to target for 9 A's, not just A for literature. You guys should target 9 A's, because if you think about it, if you plan properly, everyone should be able to get 9 A's. If you work hard and if you have the right teachers, you could get 9 A's, and that is our ultimate goal, okay? To see our pupils get 9 A's for their exam. As I was saying, coming back to the point, we're talking about juxtaposition. What is the juxtaposition you find here? Oxymorons are completely different, Nangi. Oxymorons, Hasna, was found in voice kind. Like when you take 2 opposite ideas and put them together. For example, how can war be kind? Hot ice cream is an oxymoron. Why is hot ice cream an oxymoron? Because ice cream can't be hot, right? Another example is cool fire. Holy shit. A tall dwarf, a short giant, old baby. They are oxymorons, Nangi. This is not an oxymoron. This is juxtaposition. You might have seen Himayat Fair and Lovely ads. Na, 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 na. In the beginning of the ad, the girl is really dark. And afterwards, she uses Fair and Lovely and she becomes fair. In the beginning, everyone hates her. No boyfriend, no modeling career. After she uses Fair and Lovely, she's so attractive, many boyfriends, modeling career, becomes an actress, wins an Oscar. That's juxtaposition, right? Imagine this, okay? Rin ads. In the beginning, the protagonist has a off-white, old-looking white shirt. But after that, the protagonist or the girl in the ad uses Rin, and then she walks into the office with a milky white shirt. You hear the music, ho, ho, and then they juxtapose the past and the present. In the beginning, the dress is so ugly. In the ending, the dress is so good looking, right? So milky white. Surf Excel ads. A Surf Excel line goes to the shirt. The kid goes under like a lot of dirt and mud, comes out, and the shirt is all muddy and oily. However, one Surf Excel swipe, and this side becomes milky white. The other side is dirty, kaka brown. That's juxtaposition. Do you understand that? Oh yeah, well done, Aida. Young grandfather is a good example for oxymoron. Speak silence, Ruzek, is a good example for an oxymoron. There we go. Too easy, right? So hope you understand. Oxymorons and juxtapositions are different. Oxymoron, war is kind. Juxtaposition we find here, right? In the morning, right? What do you call? At rising day, the mother had 2 sons, but tonight she'll have no sons. The rising day, the mother is happy, but at night the mother would be sad because she would not have her 2 sons. You should have memorized these 3 stanzas, okay? One more time. Farewell to barn and stack and tree. Farewell to sever and show. Terence, look your last at me, for I come home no more. The sun burns on the half-mown hill. By now the blood is dried, and Maurice amongst the hay lies still. And my knife is in his side. My mother thinks us long away. 'Tis time the fields were mown. She had 2 sons at rising day. Tonight she'll be alone. Now you guys understand juxtaposition, right? A tall man next to a short girl. Juxtaposition. Rich and poor. Juxtaposition. Here, the morning and the night are juxtaposed. The morning is full of happiness. The night is full of sadness. Why will the mother be sad at night? Because the mother would have lost both of her sons. Isn't that easy? And now the narrator is confessing again. He's using bloody. The word repetition, bloody, symbolizes his killing of his brother. What do you call the killing of your brother? It's called a fratricide. And here's a bloody hand to shake. And oh man, here's goodbye. What do you mean by oh man? Is he calling his man? Oh man, yenanga? Is he calling his man? No. It is called colloquial language. Q-U-I-A-L, colloquial language. What do you mean by colloquial language? Remember, there we are. Colloquial language means you are using informal language. Now, for example, you say, Ayo, ammata siri. You say, oh man, shit, right? Sometimes you call your mama uncle, right? Now, for example, your mama's brother is uncle. Sometimes you see a random man on the road. He drops his wallet. You say, uncle, perseka, colloquial language. Is the man that you talk to your real uncle? No, he is a random man on the road. Uncle, perseka. Do you understand that? Colloquial language, informal language. The word mama in Tamil is a very good example for colloquial language, right? If your mother's brother is mama, your wife's father is mama. Sometimes the man you want to marry is also mama. Oh, Solria mama, right? Isn't that crazy? The word mama is also kind of like your friend is also mama, right? Sometimes you call your friend also mama. Sometimes the area might. As I was saying, the word mama is also colloquial language. Colloquial language is the opposite of archaic language. Archaic language was formal and outdated. Colloquial language is informal and regional. It is informal and regional. It means it belongs to a location. Now, for example, in Sri Lanka, how about this? You might have friends, right? You call them machan, but is he really your machan? You call your friend machang, machi. Even girls, sometimes they call their friend machan, machi. But then machang is a very masculine word, right? So that is an example for colloquial language. You call your friend bro, in saying a bro, but is your friend really your brother? No, colloquial language. Now, what kind of language can you use in a formal environment? Colloquial language or archaic language? You use archaic language formally. Colloquial language is used informally, right? So, an example, can you say, dear principal machang bro, how is everything? Sapping inward the machang, atal neither. You can't use those words, right? That is informal. Those are informal words. However, archaic language is formal. An example for archaic language, tell me. Thou, thy, are, Cha-ik language. You might remember we had an example, tis. It is, it is. These are formal words. Thou These are all archaic words. They are formal, but they are outdated. In Ponniyin Selvam, apologies, the movie, you find archaic language, right? But in what you call, in a normal Tamil movie, you might find colloquial language. Hope you understand that. Too easy, right? So in this case, oh man, is the narrator calling a man, or is the narrator expressing his sadness? Oh man, ayyo, and oh man, here's goodbye. It's colloquial language. Oh man is an expression of sadness, an expression of disappointment. Well done. Varada, dost is a good word. Dost is a good word that you can use as archaic language. Thou dost bid you green, rushes like our rivers, and dost taste the pleasant sunrise. We found that in To the Nile by John Keats. Genius, you are, Nangi. Well done, Hasna. Tis is a good example. Imara, you're right. Tis is a good example. Thee is a good example. Again, these are for archaic language. Colloquial language is different. Oh man is colloquial language. We'll sweat no more on scythe and rake. Remember, scythe and rake are gardening tools, or they are farming tools actually. So scythes are used to chop down grass and trees. I mean plants. A rake is used to soften the soil. However, a scythe has always been a universal symbol for what? A scythe has always been a universal symbol for death. Okay, it's called a scythe. S-C-Y-T-H-E. S-C-Y-T-H-E. The scythe has always been a universal symbol for death. Nangi, tell me, is there a death happening in Farewell to Barn and Stack Country? Has someone died in Farewell to Barn and Stack Country? Absolutely. What was the name of the person who died, baby? Maurice. Oh, biblical language. Noora, biblical language is like archaic language, okay? But biblical language, I don't like using it because biblical means you can find it in the Bible. So biblical language, I don't use it. We use archaic language, okay? But biblical language and archaic language are the same thing. But we like using the word archaic language because biblical means it's in the Bible. So you can't find the value of Bibles here, right? Here you can't find anything about the Bible, right? To the Evening Star, yes. Into the Evening Star, there was an idea about the Bible. The fleeces of our flock are covered with thy sacred dew. Flock of sheep. The sheep has been a universal symbol for the masses in the Bible. Jesus Christ is the metaphorical shepherd in the Bible. Into the Evening Star, you can use biblical language, but here we use archaic language, okay? Both are the same, but here we like using the word biblical, archaic language. You're right. Is a word, Nizal. You're right. Fatima, we found it in To the Nile, right? Oh, may dark fancies, they surely do. But right now, what does the narrator say? And here's a bloody hand to shake. And oh man, here's goodbye. We'll sweat no more on scythe and rake, my bloody hands and I. So who is he talking about? He's talking about his bloody hands, right? So what does bloody hands symbolize? The hands of a man that has committed a murder is called bloody hands. My hands are bloody. That means his hands have blood on them, and it is a symbol for the hands of a murderer. There's another symbol for death, baby. What is that symbol? That is scythe, right? My bloody hands and I. And well done, you're right. Maurice is the name of the murder victim. Geniuses you guys are, okay? So many answers. You're right, Amhar. I was thinking about the camel's hump. We found the word scythe, rake. We found the word rake in the camel's hump, right? The cure for this ill is not to sit still or frowsed with a book by the fire, but pick a large hoe, not rake, hoe, and shovel also, and dig till you gently perspire. So perspiring means sweating, right? We'll sweat no more on scythe and rake, but to take a large hoe and shovel also, and dig till you gently perspire. That's a good example for You guys know it was found in the Camel's Hump, but right now we are focusing on Farewell to Barn and Stack and Tree. Now tell me, when you read this stanza, you get a symbol of death. But tell me the job, the occupation of the narrator. The narrator is a farmer, right? The narrator and his brother, they work in an agricultural background. If you read the word scythe and rake, sweat no more. If these words give you an image of an agricultural background. The idea of an agricultural background was also found in the title of the poem, Farewell to Barn and Stack and Tree. There we go. So easy, right? There we go. And take a large hoe and shovel also. You're right. The Camel's Hump was a extended metaphor, Samiha. The Camel's Hump was an extended metaphor for laziness. Hope you understand that, okay? Too easy, right? I'm going to move forward. So we're almost done. So, oh man is colloquial language. It's like ayyo in Koduma. So what was the extract? What was the stanza again? And here's a bloody hand to shake, and oh man, here's goodbye. We'll sweat no more on scythe and rake, my bloody hands and I. So remember, the scythe has always been a universal symbol for death. There is another lesson in our syllabus where we found the word scythe, Nangi. What's that lesson? The nightingale and the rose. We found the word scythe. Can you find death in the nightingale and the rose? What do you guys think? Of course you can, right? You can find death in the nightingale and the rose. Who died in the nightingale and the rose? The bird, the nightingale, committed suicide. She sacrificed, not suicide, she sacrificed her life for a red rose. We'll learn about the nightingale and the rose in the future. So here is the narrator speaking to Terence. I wish you strength to bring you pride. So strength brings you pride. Now tell me, if a farmer is strong, will the farmer get a small harvest or a large harvest? A large harvest. So the more stronger the farmer is, the bigger the farmer's harvest is. Too easy, right? The narrator is now leaving his surrounding. He's leaving his home. He is leaving the agricultural background. Can the narrator work as a farmer now? No. The narrator has to quit his farming, his agricultural career. So again, usually people who work, now for example, I'm a teacher and I'm very passionate about teaching, right? You can feel my passion. You can smell my passion when you see me. So equally, farmers are also very passionate. They're not like slaves, right? So farmers are very passionate people. The problem is, after this point, the narrator will not be able to be a farmer. He will keep running from the due pursuit of the law. He will not be able to become a farmer, work as a farmer again. So he is wishing Terence the best of luck. I wish you strength to bring you pride and a love to keep you clean. So what do you mean by love to keep you clean? He means find good love, right? Find love. The narrator will not be able to find love now. And a love to keep you clean. What do you mean by clean? Clean means away from sin. Clean is a symbol for away from sin, far from sin. So what do you mean by sin here? It means making mistakes, right? So clean here means a person who does not commit a crime. The narrator is not clean, right? The narrator is bloody, isn't he? The narrator is bloody. The narrator is not clean. So the narrator talks to Terence and what does he say? I wish you strength to bring you pride and a love to keep you clean and wish you luck come Lamastide. What do you mean by Lamastide? The Lamastide is a harvesting festival, okay? You guys know there's a very famous harvesting festival celebrated in Sri Lanka. What's that harvesting festival? It's called the Sinhala and Tamil New Year, right? Like the Sinhala and Tamil New Year, there is a harvesting festival called Lamastide. So the narrator wishes Terence strength to bring him pride. Why? When Terence is strong, he will be able to produce a bigger harvest, a love to keep you clean, a love that will keep him away from sin. Is the narrator clean? No, he's not. The narrator is bloody. The narrator has sinned. The narrator has committed a fratricide. Hope you remember how to spell fratricide. Fat, rat, re, side. And finally, you might remember he also says, and wish you luck come Lamastide at racing on the green. Racing on the green means competing. So this is why many people call Terence a horse. Everyone thinks that after reading this part, racing on the green, they think that Terence is a horse, okay? But to be honest, it's not given in the teacher's guide. We can't assume, we don't have enough proof to say that Terence is a horse, okay? So we'll assume that Terence is the narrator's friend. And apart from that, racing on the green is like competing. You know, harvesting festivals have competitions, right? Now, even in Urdu, we have, what do we have? We have Kambadim. We have Lissanagahe Naginava. We have Kottapora. You know Kottapora, right? One man takes his kotte, the other man takes his kotte. They beat each other with their kottes, right? Kottapora, right? You have, bunny scam. Well done. Geniuses you guys are. You know Urdu Krida very well. So like that, there must be competitions in Lamastide. And maybe the narrator is talking about that with, talking about those competitions with Terence. Too easy, right? So easy. Gonna move forward then. So basically, what's the farmer's pride? I wish you strength to bring you pride. The harvest is the farmer's pride. I wish you strength to bring you pride. A love to keep you clean. That means a love that will keep you away from sin. And wish you luck come Lamastide. What do you mean by Lamastide? A harvesting festival at racing on the green. And this is the ending of our presentation. Hope you guys have learned a lot about Farewell to Barn and Stack Country by A. Houseman. Is a 6-quatrain poem embedded under the theme of conflict. The narration is a confession of a fratricide. The narrator has murdered his brother Maurice impulsively due to a love triangle. Who mentioned the love triangle part? The teacher's guide. There we go. And long for me the rick will wait, and long will wait the fold, and long will stand the empty plate, and dinner will be cold. I talked about the word rick, right? What do you mean by rick? It is a haystack. Rick is another word for haystack. Fold is another word for... No, I made a mistake here. Not haystack. Fold is another word for a pen enclosure. One moment. A pen enclosure. Enclosure means like a box, a wooden box, okay? A pen for livestock. That's the fold, okay? Not a haystack. Fold is a pen. What's a pen, by the way? Exactly where you keep animals, exactly where you keep live animals. And long for me, the rick will wait. Rick is colloquial language. Fold is also colloquial language. What do you mean by rick? Rick is a haystack. A fold is a pen for livestock. Long for me, the rick will wait, and long will wait the fold. Will the rick really wait? Will the fold really wait? Or is this archaic language? Oh, is it personification? It is so, well done, Nangi. Well done, Hasna. It is personification. There we go. Personification, right? And long for me, the rick will wait, and long will wait the fold, and long will stand the empty plate, and dinner will be cold. What does an empty plate symbolize? Does it symbolize the abundance of food or the lack of food? It will symbolize the lack of food, right? Because the mother has lost her sons, and the sons are the breadwinners of the family. Dinner will be cold, baby. What does that mean? The mother will be waiting for her sons, right? The mother will have the plates waiting for her sons. And the mother will not consume dinner until her sons arrive. Again, the mother's lack of happiness is symbolized through the cold dinner. Usually hot food symbolizes a warm surrounding, a warm domestic surrounding. Hot food symbolizes a peaceful living. However, cold food, cold dinner shows the lack of happiness. It shows the lack of food also. The empty plate shows the lack of food. Why will the mom not have enough food? Because both of her sons are gone. My mother thinks us long away. 'Tis times the fields were mown, She had two sons at rising day. Tonight she'll be alone. So there we go. To be honest, one son is Setapochi, the other son is Odipochi, right? One son is dead, Maurice is dead, and Maurice's brother would be evading or would be running away from the due pursuit of the law. And that is farewell to barn and stack country. It will make, so again, like I said, the empty plate symbolizes the lack of food, right? It also shows that when someone dies in a European house, all right, you might also know that you also might have heard that they leave an empty plate to symbolize a death. So the empty plate will symbolize Maurice's death also. So remember, it symbolizes two things. When a person dies in a European household, there's an empty plate left to symbolize their death. Also, an empty plate symbolizes the lack of food because the mother has lost both of her sons. She is going to struggle to make ends meet. Too easy, right? Why is the word green used in stanza 5? Racing on the green. Oh, green is a meadow, Fazrat. Green is a meadow, a grassy land. That's the word green. Here we go at racing on the green. And I wish you luck come Lamastide at racing on the green. So green is a symbol of nature, right? Green symbolizes nature. There we go. And also green symbolizes a meadow. A meadow is like a grassy land, right? A meadow is like a grassy land. We found the word meadow in Fear by Gabriela Mistral. Absolutely. In Indian houses, when someone passes away, they decorate the picture frame of that person with a garland, right? So equally in European households, when someone passes away, their death is symbolized using an empty plate. Too easy, right? So there we go. One moment. I've learned that Lamastide, oh, not a girl's name. That's lies. I know there was a teacher who was like, Lamastide is the girl's name, right? Oh, no, not really. Lamastide means the harvesting festival. So what happens is, Aisha, when teachers make mistakes, they don't want to admit the mistake. They would cover their mistakes. So I believe, I know the teacher you're talking about. I believe what she did was she accidentally mentioned this in one of her classes. And after that, if you take a look at the word Lamastide, it means the harvesting festival, like the Sinhala and Tamil New Year. But the problem is now she can't admit it, and now she's lying, and now she says Lamastide is the name of a girl. I know the teacher who started the rumor, actually. I personally know the teacher who started that rumor. Sadly, no. Lamastide is not a name of a girl. Rather, Lamastide is the harvesting festival. Too easy, right? There we go. Too easy. Yes, it's like the Sinhala and Tamil New Year. So we talked about farewell to barn and stack country. Very quickly, remind Javed what you learned today. Farewell to barn and stack country is a poem under the theme of conflict, consisting of how many quatrains? 6 quatrains. What rhyme do you have in farewell to barn and stack country? Alternating rhyme, right? The narration is narrated in the what person corner? First person corner. The narration is a confession of a fratricide. The murder victim's name is Maurice, whom is the narrator confessing to? Terence. And he is confessing about him killing his brother, right? The narrator has murdered his brother impulsively. What's the reason behind the murder? It is a love triangle. What do you mean by love triangle? Eka bicycle I kollo. Then well done, Mariam. The poem is also a ballad due to rhyme and rhythm, and that is farewell to barn and stack country. You will learn the poem even more thoroughly after you go through the presentation. If you guys need the presentation, contact your Javed, sir. I shall drop my number again in the chat. It's not 77-963-9434. Reach out whenever you guys can. I'll definitely help you out with literature. But for now, Javed has to leave you guys. It is always an honor. Always a pleasure to be called your teacher. Even though you gave me 2 hours of your time, that time is very valuable, and I hope you learned something about farewell to barn and stack country. Personification was there, right? Farewell, goodbye to a tree, to a barn, to a stack. There was juxtaposition. My mother thinks as long away 'tis time the fields were mown. She had 2 sons at rising day, tonight she'll be alone. There was symbolism for death. What was the symbolism for death? The scythe, right? Euphemism, telling something bad indirectly. The narrator never says that he killed his brother. Rather, the narrator says that And the sun burns on the half-mown hill. By now the blood is dried, and Maurice amongst the hay lies still. My knife is in his side. We are done with our session. Reach out to your Javed, sir. Dab with your Javed, sir. Flex with your Javeds. I'll see you guys